No matter if you build large furniture or dabble with selling smalls, this video will put your projects above the competition. Let's say you poured your heart, soul, and countless hours on a project, but then you gave up and slapped some Minwax on it at the end. And now you have fancy birdhouse-shaped firewood. What if you could add characteristics that only Father Time could produce? All with simple products you probably already own. To understand anything we are about to do, we first need to familiarize ourselves with these guys. Get a notepad. I'm discussing how to achieve this finishing miracle on some softwoods and hardwoods. Here I have a piece of pine, mahogany, maple, red oak, you can read, poplar, aspen, and black walnut. What makes a piece of wood able to be chemically altered are called tannins. Tannins are polyphenolic compounds found in various parts of plants, including the bark, stems, seeds, roots, buds, and leaves. And if you've ever drank tea or eaten a cinnamon roll, you've eaten tannins. That's disgusting. While both hardwoods and softwoods contain tannins, hardwoods typically have a higher concentration. Tannins even react with water, potentially causing dark spots or staining. This is why even if you just pour some Aquafina on top of a piece of wood, it generally looks nicer than it did when it was dry. While softwoods generally have lower tannin content, they still have tannins. Some softwoods, such as cedar and redwood, have noticeable tannin levels. Let's start with something we all have around the house. Black tea bags. Black tea contains tannins, which are natural compounds that can react with the wood to create a warm golden color. Different brands and blends of tea can produce varying colors and densities. It's recommended to do a few sample boards first. Where those come from? Simply brew a few tea bags in 1 or 2 cups of water and allow it to steep for about an hour. And while it still has a little warmth, we're going to apply it to our boards with a foam brush. The tannins in tea can also be used to enhance the effect of other staining methods, such as the baking soda or our steel wool and vinegar mixture. Due to their lower tannin count, I'm going to apply it to a piece of poplar and aspen, just, see what happens. While black tea adds tannins to enhance the colors, a baking soda mixture will actually react with the tannins themselves, giving it a greater weathered effect. Just add some baking soda to a little jar that you bought. Find your 2 cups of lukewarm water. A little bit of ASMR, you like that? Baking soda, also known as sodium bicarbonate, is a base, and when it reacts with certain acids naturally present in wood, it can cause a chemical reaction that alters the wood's color. This reaction often results in a darkening or aging effect. It's been about 15 minutes since I've treated my boards, and you can already tell that the red oak, it's changing colors. You can see it in the mahogany. It has a lighter effect to the darker effect. It's a pretty cool thing. It's also pretty cool that all of these fit in my upper camera. I'm very happy that they do. This mixture we are going to get to in a couple days because it takes a couple days for it to get mixed up. Now, I have 2 different types of stain. Both are Minwax. One of them is just a pre-stain. That's the one on the very end. And one of them is an actual just weathering agent you can buy on the shelf. So instead of doing a Breaking Bad scenario and making them yourself, you can just actually buy one at the store. This works the same way as our other mixtures do. Just foam brush it on. And since this can has more than just baking soda in it, it's going to have a lot quicker graying effect. You can already see it's completely a different color. It says to let it dry for 30 to 60 minutes. I'm going to wait overnight while those dry as well so I can get a finished look once everything's dry and not wet anymore. And pre-stain is something completely different. What pre-stain does is it actually fills in those gaps and crevices between the grain to give you a more unified look while staining. So you don't get these weird blotchy spots. It's like this spot right there. It's almost like an oil at this point. And it's going to lock in all those grains, all those little spaces, fill them all in nicely. And in 5 to 15 minutes, this will be completely dry, and much like our weathering stain or any of the other ones we're doing today, you can stain over the top of it with whatever color wood stain or finish you prefer. When steel wool is soaked in vinegar, the iron reacts with the acid to form an iron acetate solution. To make this concoction, I used 4 pads of superfine steel wool. I washed the steel wool with dish soap and rinsed it with water to remove any oil coating. The steel wool pads were torn into pieces, not recommended, put into a glass container, and then submerged in the vinegar. To keep the steel wool below the liquid level, I weighed it down with a couple rocks. You don't want the steel wool above the liquid level. That would produce rust and contaminate the iron acetate. I also covered my container with a bit of old towel to allow those produced gases to escape. It's definitely the stinkiest of what I have so far. I strained mine just using that piece of towel, dumped it right into a beaker, and then dumped it right back into here. We're going to put it on our wood. When the iron acetate solution comes into contact with the wood containing tannins, the iron reacts with the tannins to form iron-tannin complexes. It hasn't even been 5 minutes, and look how much darker this one is than any of the others. And I know it's wet and it, kind of gives off that sheen, but wow. Although seconds for you, it has been overnight again for me. I came back out to the garage and looking at our solution, it is very brown. It's a very high rust color. And again, that's why you wanted to submerge your steel wool farther down underneath the liquid so that air doesn't chemically change your mixture. And now that I had pulled the steel wool out and this mixture had time to sit with a little bit extra air in the jug, it's a darker brown. And this would give you a completely different palette of colors than how I had stained it yesterday, since our liquid was clear. And looking at our stain section compared to our weathering stain, this is going to give you a lot darker browns, blacks, because of that iron concentrate, versus weathering, which is going to give you some lighter grays. And here is our finished result. Pine, mahogany, maple, red oak. This very first section was our tea mixture. And as you can see, by adding tannins, it actually changed it to a completely different color. Had I done the tea stain and then maybe the baking soda, it could give you a completely different outlook if you look in these weird little center spots where the two had merged together. This one is like a purple color. Weird. So that is our tea on the end. Next up, we have our baking soda mixture, which will settle in your jar. I did hit this twice, so this isn't one coat, this was 2 coats for both. Didn't do too much on the pine. It kind of actually makes it look like it's a treated piece of wood, so. But it did react very well with the mahogany, gave you a white, be a cool birdhouse color. Again, kind of a green on the maple. It's a lighter colored wood, not as many noticeable tannins. And a beautiful gray color on our red oak. This section here is our poop water, which is our steel wool and vinegar. It's giving a beautiful darker shades for the red oak, maple, and mahogany. It's giving you a darker color for the pine. Our fourth section is that weathering stain. 60 minutes, it's set up, it's dry. You can move on with your life. Gives you some beautiful grayed, weathered colors. It's in the name. These 2 sections are a little difficult to see on the camera, so I'm just going to talk about them for a second. This one I had used a natural stain on just by itself. This one I had done a pre-stain and then done the natural stain. And you can see, you can't, I can see, there's a lot of blotchy dark spots on these boards with just the stain. Because the stain, it doesn't have those cracks filled in yet, so some of the higher concentrated tannin sections take a little bit more of the stain, the others don't. So you get that kind of blotchy effect. You can see this spot's really shiny, right where it almost meets a knot. This section is unified across all of the boards. I don't see any blotchy, I don't see any shiny spots, no dark spots. It's going to tighten in all those tannins and give you a quick coat over the top so that when you stain it, it doesn't make it blotchy. And lastly, our aspen and poplar, I had hit him with that tea mixture. I can see exactly where I had stopped using the tea mixture on these boards. This is a much higher golden color than this back section, especially the 2 spots where it dripped some tea and it sat there at a very high concentration. This one, honestly, it looks a little blotchy where I just stained over it, and this is very unison. And that's pretty much our science experiment for today. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video and you just really don't care and you're not going to give it a try, I hope there's one thing that you take away from this video in specific, And that's the fact that I bought a $12 professional kazoo off of Amazon. This thing's made out of metal. Take a listen. I put my microphone down so we don't all die. Huh? Oh, Amazon, you know exactly what I want to buy all the time. See you guys. Oh, yep. Another video in the holster.